Good evening. It is 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and it is time for Bike Church. And want to welcome y'all. I'm trying to do things, trying to get back on the regular schedule like Randy always did it. So I'm having to work towards that, but I am getting better. So I appreciate y'all being patient with me. I would like to remind you that we do this every Sunday afternoon at 6 o'clock, and of course I'm doing it here at my house. Originally, we did these services at the coffee shop uptown that we had, and that was one of the things we did. We had Bible study a couple of nights a week, and we did Bike Church on Sunday night for the express purpose of having a service for people to come to who maybe their church didn't have services on Sunday night, or maybe they didn't want to go to a regular church. You know, there are a lot of people who have gotten church hurt and they don't want to go to what I would call a regular church. And so we did that as a place for them to come, so that a place for them to feel comfortable and come and not feel like they were getting judged for how they looked or what they were, all these things. And a lot of things, it's in your head when you get that in your mind. I got hurt, and so I'm not going back because they're not nice people. And most church folks are nice people, but you have to love on people a lot sometimes to get them to give a regular church a chance. And so that was one of the reasons we did it. We wanted people to know that everybody is welcome, and that's the way we always looked at it. We didn't want you to come to be a member. We just wanted you to come because we wanted to love on you and share Jesus with you, and show you that Jesus does love you. So, and we always, we always did that at 6 o'clock. And I had a prayer rag, and for the life of me, I don't know, it might have gotten misfiled, but anyway, it was a regular, I call them shop rags. You see the mechanics walking around with them in their pocket, and they wipe the grease off their hands, or if they're checking oil, just the little plain red cotton cloths. And so we would buy those because our friend Mark did that at his bike church, and so we borrowed that idea from him. And we always started the service waving the rag over our head and saying hallelujah. And so we're just gonna do that hallelujah whether we've got the rag or not. We also use those as prayer rags, and when we prayed for you or with you, we would give you one if you wanted it. We didn't make you take it, obviously, but if you wanted one, we wanted you to have it. And that was just an outward reminder that that we were praying for you and with you, and just something to see and remind you of that. So that was how we always started Bike Church back then, and I'm going to try to do that again. And speaking of prayer, I do want to remind you that we still want to pray for you and with you. And I say we because I have friends and family who will pray with me for things. I don't always share every prayer request. It's just according to what it is. If it's something that needs to be private, it stays between me and the person. Me and the person who shared it with me. But some things I'm able to share with someone else, and they help me pray. It's just according to what the person who I'm talking to says, and how we feel about it. So that's just between. Goodness gracious, Lord, you gotta help me. But we want to pray with you. So if you tell, excuse me 1 second. Okay. If you tell me something that you want me to pray with you, and it is private, then that's where it stays between me and you and God. But we want to pray with you. And we also want to hear your praise reports, where God has answered your prayers. I want to hear those because it encourages me when I hear it. I know God answers prayers, but it still encourages me when I hear somebody tell about what God did for them. That encourages everybody. So share your prayer requests with me, knowing that they're private unless you say otherwise, but let me know when God answers that prayer as well. Some things take a long time and some things are super short. I have had prayers where, and it may seem like a little thing, but one example was we were doing our first bike blessing, and we were going to do it at the park, and we decided that we were going to order these little vials off of Amazon, probably about the size of the last two joints of my little finger, and we were going to put oil in them, and we were going to give them to the people who were on our prayer team. We were going to let them have them so they could put a little drop of oil, if the person was okay with it, put a little drop of oil, and we might, because it was a bike blessing, we might put it on the side of the tire, or we might put it on the back of the person's hand, again, with their permission, to pray for people. And we also gave those little vials of oil to other people who wanted them or needed them. It was just a little screw-on lid, and we ordered them. And when you order on Amazon, it will tell you, it will tell you when the delivery date's going to be. And this was a range of dates, and the last day was going to be the bike blessing was going to be on a Saturday, and the last date it would be delivered was on Monday. And so I messaged several people and I said, listen, we need these little vials to get here. I had ordered it in what I thought was plenty of time. I said, but we need these little vials to get here before the bike blessing so I can have them. And I prayed, and the people that I talked to prayed. I went and got the mail. They were in the mailbox. They came like 2 days afterwards. So some things are like that story. While he was yet praying, the Lord answered his prayer. And some things takes a while for it to be answered for whatever reason, mainly because it's in God's timing. But again, back to the praying. I want to hear your prayer requests, and I want to hear your praise reports. So you can send me a message on here. You can send me a message on my Facebook, which is Beth McDaniel Rogers. If you've got my phone number, you can call me or text me. I can do either one of those. If you want to, you can email it to us. I get those too. All of those things come to me. I have another couple of admins on this page that will also send, but they're trustworthy too, or I wouldn't let them be doing this. So we want to hear from you. And I want to say this as well. I don't have the coffee shop anymore, so people can't stop by up there to visit with me and say, I just need to talk to you. But you can still, if you need to talk to me, I had a girl call me the other night and we talked on the phone, but I will come to you, or you can come to me, or we will meet. There's a place in Luverne we can meet, the Chicken Shack. We can go to the library. We can go to the park. We can meet in Brantley at my friend's little coffee place, cafe, Overflow Cafe. There's a park in Brantley. There are plenty of places we can meet that are safe for both of us, where we can meet and you can talk to me if you need to. I'm glad to listen. Always glad to listen. So keep those things in mind. So saying that, I do want to give you a couple of announcements. I've got my shirt on. I don't know if you can see what it says or not. It says team member Beth Rogers. And this is a friend of mine and I went to City of Hope over near Atlanta, and took some training on being cancer care ministers. And so we are starting up the training for that. It's going to start February the 1st. And if you think that's something that you would be interested in taking part in the training, we're going to do that. And then after that, the team will actually start. And we're going to do things, this is just some of the examples. We're going to do things like visit you if you ask us to come visit with you and pray with you, we'll do that. We will come and help you. If you need help with housework, we will either help you with that or make arrangements. We might help start a food food chain, I think is what they're called, where different people make food and bring it to you. Maybe you just need somebody to talk to. Maybe you need somebody to help you get to doctor's offices. Whatever you need, we want to help you meet that need. Now, I'm not going to say that one of us is going to do everything, but I'm saying we're going to try to be resources where we can help you get those things done. And I will say this, when Randy was sick, my sisters-in-law, Diane and Linda, came, one of them came about every day. Sometimes it was just for a few minutes. Sometimes they would come and stay a while just to visit with Randy and I both. But after Randy got bad enough that he was not bedbound completely, but he took a lot of it. I was nervous about leaving him alone very much at one time. And so they came to the house one day and we were sitting there and Diane says, Beth, I have a question. She says, now I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but she says, how are you taking a bath? Now that was her way of asking me about my self-care, make sure I was taking care of myself. And I kind of laughed and I said, well, when I go to the bathroom to wash my face, I wash another part of my body, and then the next time I go, I'll wash somewhere else. It's just a little bit here and a little bit there, just when I can, because again, I didn't want to leave Randy by himself. And Diane said, well, would you like to take a shower? And I said yes. So Diane and Linda sat there with Randy and visited with him and made sure he was okay while I took a shower. And y'all, when I tell you that was the best shower I have had in my entire life, because I was able to take the time that I needed. I got to wash my hair real good, and I got to scrub real good, and got to put lotion on, and I just felt I was just relaxed. I didn't have to worry about rushing back in there. And I was glad to do anything I could for Randy, but being a caregiver is hard. And so the fact that they were there for me, that meant a lot. And so I want to return that favor to other people. If you need to just go lay down and take a nap and let me sit with your loved one or Linda or whoever the team member is, we want to do those things. So if you are interested in being a part of that ministry, shoot me a message and let me know, and I will let you know about the training and everything. And you may not want to be a part of the ministry. You may want to support us by praying for us, or you may know of somebody that we need to talk to, so a person that you know that is affected by cancer. Shoot us that information as well, because we want to be present for those who need it. So there's that. And our church is organizing, another women's retreat, and that is in April. And we're having an information meeting. I believe the meeting is January the 25th. But if you want more information about that, let me know, and I'll give you the information on when the meeting is and is what little bit of information I have, because I'm not over it. I'm just planning on attending. We won't be gone, but I think it's like the 15th through the 17th, so we won't be gone a long day. But everybody that went to the last one had a really good time. It builds relationships. You get encouraged in your walk with Jesus. It was just a lot. They said it was a lot of fun and very, very, very helpful. And I will say, I don't know about a lot of men's ministries because that's not a topic that comes up a lot. But I will say our church has a men's ministry, and they meet I think it's the last Thursday of every month, and it's called Kingdom Hunters. And the guys who are in charge of that and who attend that, this is not sit down, drink a cup of coffee, and eat a slice of cake in 15 minutes and you're done, and read a little devotional. I believe they are digging in so that the Lord will help them be the men of God that they're supposed to be. So if you know somebody that might be interested in that, let me know and I'll get you that information. So those are our announcements for today. And I'm going to read tonight. We've been reading through Genesis. And so tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 17. And up until now, the man's name was Abram, Abram, and his wife's name was Sarai, Sarai. And I had never known how to pronounce that until Bruce said it a couple of Sundays ago, and so now that's how I say it, Sari. And that makes sense to me because it's different than Sarah, which was Sarah. So anyway, we're going to read chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, now if you will remember, Abram was 86 when the servant girl Hagar had Ishmael. 86. So follow along. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless, that I may make my covenant between me and you, and may multiply you greatly. Then Abram fell on his face, and God said to him, Behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be the father of a multitude of nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you the father of a multitude of nations. And we talked about that last night. Not only is Abraham the father of the Israelites, but he's also the father of all the tribes that descended from Ishmael. All of us talk about Father Abraham. Because I say us, I'm not an Israelite, but I'm grafted in because I'm a Christian. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your offspring after you throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be God to you and to your offspring after you. And I will give to you and to your offspring after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said to Abraham, As for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your offspring after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your offspring after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised. Every male throughout your generations, whether born in your house or bought with your money from any foreigner who is not of your offspring, both he who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money shall surely be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh, an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. Now, I made a note over here, 17 verse 6. God made a covenant with every person in Abraham's group, not just family, but all the servants as well. That's where Israel came from. It was not just Abraham, his blood family. Israel came from every person that was with Abraham, all of the servants. Isaac's birth promised. And God said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. I will bless her, and moreover I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall become nations. Kings of peoples shall come from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said to himself, Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. God said, No, but Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his offspring after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and multiply him greatly. He shall father 12 princes, and I will make him into a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this time next year." When he had finished talking with him, God went up from Abraham. Then Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all those born in his house or bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and he circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that very day, as God had said to him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. That very day Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised. And all the men of his house, those born in the house and those bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. So God said it, and they did it. And that is a covenant. Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with circumcision to this day, and I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know. I just know that God said for them to do it, and they did it. And that was the covenant. So that's one of those things you have to pray about and decide for yourself when it's time when it's time for your sons to be born, and you make that decision. And if you follow what God says, what God leads you to do, I know God is going to honor that. So Abraham and Sarah got their names changed. And if you will notice, that's a pattern. When God does something in your life, he will change your name because he's changing your circumstances. So that's that was chapter 17. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. And remember what my announcements were. I did post a graphic on my page. I believe I posted it last night, that shows the links between all the verses in the Bible. Like if there's a Genesis 1:1 and then there's another verse that's linked to that answers it or corresponds to it, they're linked. And so it's when you look at it up close, it's huge, but it's lines, all different colors. And if you will look at that link on my page, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's fascinating to look at. It's fascinating to see all the connections between the verses. People that talk about how men wrote the Bible and how it's made up and all this kind of stuff, I don't see logically, and I'm a logical person, I don't see logically how all those connections were made by people in different areas, in different time frames, wrote these things. That takes a lot more. I can't imagine what kind of work that would have taken to figure something like that out. But anyway, thank y'all for joining me tonight. And again, we're continuing to read through the book of Genesis, and we will be back on my page starting tomorrow night. See y'all then.